Lights up, Bronx starts middle. This is your principal, Mr. Gonzalez, bringing you your news for today, Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. Middle school matters, scholars, and that is why we have something called the middle school method. That's right, this is comprised of artist process, followed by growth mindset, visual thinking strategies, don't forget the artist palette, and of course, what monitors it all, bass. The Bronx Arts Soaring Scholars. This is what we use for our positive school-wide behavior incentive program. And you just received the first incentive yesterday. How was that dress down day? We want to remind you to be your best always. Attend school each day, show respect, and succeed academically. Scholars do all of that each and every day, and you'll be enjoying those incentives all the time. And not just that, you will have a foundation. Take you from middle school and beyond. Another big announcement this Friday at community meeting, so please stay tuned about bass. Now let's move on to our call board for our school announcements, and it's Hispanic Heritage Month, as you learned at our last community meeting, and I'm going to tell you about my Hispanic heritage, Mr. Gonzalez. Although born in Florida, in Orlando, my heritage comes from Cuba. Both of my parents were born in the island, which capital is 90 miles south of the southernmost tip of Florida, Key West. So it's very, very close by Cuba. Cuba and Puerto Rico have very similar flags, and here's some interesting trivia. The two island nations gained independence from Spain on the same year, 1898, and were both owned by the United States. Oddly enough, Cuba was then granted its full, complete independence, and Puerto Rico became a protectorate. But during that time, Puerto Rico said they wanted a flag like Cuba because they aspired to be independent one day themselves. The quote is from a poem that says, Cuba y Puerto Rico son de un pájaro las dos alas, which means that they are the two wings of the single bird because of the great friendship that the two nations have. Now, facts about Cuba. It has the highest literacy rate in the world. And most of the Latin music you hear, its birthplace was in Cuba. That's like bolero, cha-cha-cha, rumba, guaguancó, son, all of those. And now what the United States did when they were making records and marketing this is they took all those different styles, all that different type of music, and they said this music's called salsa. But there actually is no salsa music. But that's an interesting fact, and that's another story that we'll talk about some other time. All right, and speaking of stories, Cuba also has a very rich past and a very complicated relationship with the United States. You see right there in that picture, that was the President Fulgencio Batista, who was overthrown in a revolution by this man, Fidel Castro. Now, people have very mixed thoughts about this, and it's way too dense to get into about lights up, but it does point Cuba out to be the one country of all the Latin American countries that has ever had a very significant controversy and showdown, almost potential nuclear war, with the United States. That's Cuba for you. And moving on, we have the dog of Cuba. It's called the Havanese. This dog can be traced back all the way back to 1959 when those people left the island nation due to the revolution. They brought their dogs with them. And so all the dogs that we have in this country can be traced back to the original Havanese from 1959. That is the official dog of Cuba, Mr. Gonzalez, and that's my Cuban heritage. All right, now, scholars, remember that the school day starts at 8:10. Your parents receive a text when you scan in. And if you don't scan, what do they get? An absence message, and we want to avoid that. Please always avoid that. Before you go, make sure that their chairs go up in the last period class. And scholars, we have a crosswalk complete with a crossing guard, Miss McCrae. So we need to make sure that we are following these rules daily. And I just want to pause real quick on this. We continue to have an issue with the going home and the dismissal. Scholars, if you are unable to get home without incident, we will make alternate arrangements for you, including your parents having to pick you up and drop you off each day. Now, I'm confident that we don't need to do that. So please, let's start just getting home and getting home the right way. Moving on. We read at Bronx Arts Middle, and you should have an independent reading book. If you're not part of the book club, that's fine. You can still read something independently. And we have exciting news coming up about the library upstairs. Ghost is what Mr. McCabe is doing now with the book club. You can join that. Remember, keep reading, because you know what else? You'll never get smart without arts. Have a great day, everyone.